And we're live. Good evening, whiskey brothers and sisters, and welcome to episode 12 of the Canadian Whisky Journey's Whiskey Review. I'm Dubh. I'll be your host tonight, and we're joined by Blair, Phillips, and Davin de Kergommeaux, co-authors to this book right here, The Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries, the portable expert to over 200 distilleries and the spirits they make. And you should buy the book if you don't already have it. We are continuing our Canadian Whisky Journey with a review of Dubh Glas Distillery's Lockdown Whiskey. Now, this is part of the pandemic series. And just to show you the article, this is where you should go to get some information. So CanadianDistilleries.com. Here's what the article looks like itself. It's a good looking article. And it mentions the three other whiskeys in the pandemic series: quarantine, isolation, and social distance. And I've got social distance right there. Good looking bottle. I love the heavy bottles too, and a nice signature from me too. So I got this, and
you got it fine.
The other thing I do have too, I had to say this, although it's not whiskey related. This is the first gin I ever liked in my life, and I'm gonna owe it to you gentlemen last year, and I'll owe it to Steve Lee as well because he sent it and he made it. But this was the first gin I'd ever liked in my whole life. So I've got the shirt. I've got the gin, which is done. This is water in here, but I couldn't throw out the bottle because of the signature. Oh, it is gin. Sorry, got another one. Sorry. Oops. Well, then my wife's telling me it's gin. I should be drinking right now. And what we do have right now in this lovely glass is the newest in the pandemic series. And this newest one, and I don't have the bottle for it. Blair, do you actually have the bottle right beside you? I was going to have you put it up if you do.
Yeah, there we go.
There, that's it.
I fell into some radiation and turned into a giant, and that's how big the bottle was.
You're actually 4 stories high, and it's an idiot of you. Blair, we're going to talk about the article if we can. It mentions the genesis of Douglas's unique cask, so the 100-liter cask, and the reason why Steve Lee chose to use them. So I'm going to ask you to shed some light on this if you can. I'm going to throw up a quote here just to kind of prompt you a little bit.
Yeah. So when Steve Lee puts on his orange suit, he turns into the Fonz, right? So he just goes up to he has these ex-bourbon barrels. He goes up to them, just gives them a smack, and they fall apart. And what they do is they recooper them. About 70 to 80% of the wood is recoopered from a 200-liter barrel into a 100-liter barrel.
Wow.
Okay. And this is kind of Dubh. I would say it's their trademark signature technique for making a smaller barrel size without going to quarter casks. And what that does is basically what the quote says is that he realizes that you can't speed up the maturation process, but by increasing the surface, the wood to spirit to surface ratio, you kind of skip those teenage years of being in a barrel for 3 years, and the whiskey takes on a richer profile.
Okay.
A bit bolder, but he knows you can't accelerate time. So
it doesn't mature as fast as quarter cask with brand new wood, right? So it doesn't have that yum character to it, but it is aged quicker in a mature wood, which gives it a softer feel to it, I'm guessing, essentially.
Yeah, and also his goal was to he wanted to use properly seasoned barrels. He didn't want to go with the new oak and get all those. I'm assuming he didn't want all those young pencil shaving notes in his whiskey.
And I like his whiskey oaked just slightly. And I think if it was in quarter cask, it might take over because it's a subtle whiskey. And I'd hate to lose that character of it too. Davin, you've been around Canadian distilleries or distillers more than anyone I know. So I'm going to ask you this question. I think it makes sense that they do a batch system to circumvent the consistency issue that craft distillers have. And you mentioned this in your article. But I'm pretty sure that Douglas, even though they usually have their whiskey in batches, so batch and batch, every new outing they still have a recognizable style, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think they do. Their whiskeys, I don't know if you know Scotch whiskey, but there are different regions of Scotland. The lowland whiskeys all have a character that is quite similar to what Stevie is getting at Douglas. It's floral, it's soft, but it's not weak. It's just everything is kind of just gentle, and it's quite beautiful. Like it reminds me of Rosebank. If you know the whiskeys from Rosebank, it really has those characters. And the whiskeys, I think that he's really taken an intelligent approach with those barrels, so that he's using fully aged barrels, because most of the flavor doesn't come from the wood anyway, unless you use the wrong wood. So he's really allowing the spirit to come out, because that's one area where he can be consistent, is producing a relatively consistent spirit. But as far as batch, each barrel is a batch. If it was Crown Royal, you would praise them that every big batch of whiskey they make is identical to the one before. But they have millions of barrels to draw on. When you're in a small distillery like Douglas, there aren't enough barrels there to kind of even it out from one to the next. So he does make single cask brews. Yeah, very much. They very much have their own character, while maintaining the softness that is characteristic of that distillery. Excellent.
And mine's a very specific flavor that I get whenever I have one of his single malts. So for me, it's the sweetness is a powdery sugar sweetness, and you say that in the article. And I think that I'm influencing your taste buds a little bit, because you referenced marshmallow and you referenced some candy in the article, which I don't know if you do too often. That's kind of my thing. So I'm thinking maybe I'm influencing you guys. But this is the perfect one for it, because I get rockets on this. So I get the candied sugar. And every time I have a Douglas, I always get rockets. That's the flavor. And that's a great flavor from childhood, even though I wasn't drinking whiskey in childhood. This is very similar. It makes me feel good. It's good. Yeah. What do we think about the notes? Oh, sorry, Davin.
I get powdered candy and Welch's grape juice on the nose. Those marshmallow notes are something that tend to disappear over time. So we're tasting a 4-year-old whiskey where we still have some of the marshmallow. More time in the barrel would probably turn those into something else. Yeah.
Okay.
And, it reminds me of those. It's that breakfast cereal, like Lucky Charms, the little marshmallows. That's the flavor I get. And when Davin talks about the powdered sugar type thing, to me, it's remember those weird fake fruits that you could get as a kid, where it was like it was the shape of a grape, and you open it up and you pour it out. There's like the purple powder in it.
Yeah,
that's the grape I'm getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love it, actually. I love that mixture of these retro candies that are in this.
I'm perfect with it. It's very good, and every part of it.
I agree with you on every point except those candies, Blair. I got the flavors, but they were not weird.
Okay. Very normal, Blair. And we're normal for eating them.
But when you're a kid and used to go and buy the fruits in the plastic, it was kind of strange, right? You're buying this weird.
Okay.
But inside is what counts. Just like what's inside the whiskey barrel counts. And in that case, it's delicious. So.
And what's inside of us? A whole bunch of beauty in you, gentlemen. Perfect. Let's delve into this captivating. And I'm saying captivating because it's captivity with lockdown, and I'm trying to play with the words. So I didn't see a smile from either of you. So I've got to work on my puns a little bit. That's okay. So this captivating dram, gentlemen, a little bit of information, 750 mils, 46%, single malt, 2 barrels mixed together. One's one of the 100 liters that you were talking about. The other one's a regular 200 liter ex bourbon. And if memory serves, I think I paid $80 for it way back when. And that's memory. And if Steve Lee's on here, he can tell us if I'm wrong or not. It was available in BC and Alberta for sure. And anyone else, you have to go online, just check it out there. And that should be it. And which barrel was in, which one was aged for 4 years? Was it the 100 liter or the 200 liter for 4 years, or both?
the 100, I believe the 100 liter for almost 4 years, coming up on 4 years. And if I'm not mistaken, the ex-bourbon was a 3-year-old.
Nice. Okay. On the nose, gentlemen, what do we get? And I'm going to tell you the thing that that's very unique about this whiskey that I didn't get on any of the others.
I got sandalwood and kiwi fruit. I don't know if...
Okay. That's not me, but it sounds fantastic.
Apricots, tonic water.
Tonic water, thank you.
You got tonic water, good.
Tonic water because it's a freshness that I get on the nose. It's very gin-like. So when you talk about tonic water, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm a new guy to this whole gin world, but the freshness, the citrus, the tonic water, the effervescence, I guess, on the nose, that's what's hitting me on this one that I didn't from the social distance or their other single drams we've had. All right. All right. Now the palate, gentlemen. Do you get the candied sugar still? I do.
Oh, yeah.
It's right
hard
there.
candy, yeah.
Yeah, loads of it. And then a nice peppery spice to sort of lift it up.
You still got the grape juice, Blair?
Welch's?
Not right now.
No.
No, but
soft, fruity candy overtones. But there's wood in there. There's some fresh lumber. There's nice clean wood in there. Yeah. And the pepperiness. I like the pepperiness. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you've said it before, soft on the palate and not an oily softness like I tend to really like, but this softness, I guess, more like a wheat whiskey softness, if you know what I mean. I don't know how to, it's not creamy, it's not oily, but it's soft.
Yeah, I find wheat whiskey a bit sweeter, perhaps, but of course it depends how they make it. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. Like there are many different elements to the flavor, but they are all. Well, I guess getting back to the lowland whiskeys, they're soft and approachable and really pleasing. I can understand why people like his whiskeys. They all sell out so quickly because they really are quite drinkable.
Well, I think he just doesn't make enough is the problem. That's it. I've told him that before because they do sell out terribly quick. So if you want some of his stuff, you have to get on board right away. You hear something's on sale at Douglas or something's coming out, you have to be on your game. Either get someone to get it for you or you're ordering online. Because I've missed out.
I saw something on Instagram. I think it was Grant who said it that there's a Beautiful Man second edition in the works. I don't know if that's true, so don't quote me. But if it is, man, people should start lining up now. Yep.
And I had a lot of requests last time after we talked about A Beautiful Man. People asked me how they could get it, and I had to break the news to them. It's sorry.
Yeah.
We reviewed something that you're not going to get, and this is another one. You're not going to get this one from Steve. And but if you do, you have to act quickly. But anyway, gentlemen, let's wrap this up. Blair, last thoughts, kind sir?
Yeah, I'm just loving this whiskey, and if you look back at what Steve Lee's done in 2020 with Smoke on the Water, Fire in the Sky, the Pandemic series, I think there are a couple of others. He might be the most prolific whiskey maker of 2020 because a lot of other people kind of kept quiet that year, and he just went for it. So
crank it out one after the other.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And you talk about that in the article. Another reason for people to read that article. We're not saying everything in there, just a bit.
Yeah.
Davin?
If anybody who's watching has a mother, this book, honestly, mothers go nuts over this book so they can plan their distillery travel. Great Mother's Day gift.
It's perfect. Gentlemen,
no, I love Steve Lee's work. It's really, he does great stuff.
He does. And he's prominently in the book, and you see his nice orange suit in the book and the orange shirt kind of in homage to him. Well, it's his shirt too, so that's that one. But yeah, get the book, Check it out. Read the article. Drink some whiskey. And we will see you next week, gentlemen. So cheers. And I hope everyone has a fantastic, fantastic week. Gianna.